Welcome back to our programming journey. So, to continue from in the data structure, in this video, we explore two incredibly powerful data structures that allow you to organize and work with more complex and varied data. And these are the list and data frame. Data frames in particular are the workhorse of R for almost any real world data analysis task. So this video will explore two crucial arrow data structures, which are lists and data frame. We start with lists, which are highly flexible containers capable of holding elements of different types, including other data structures. We'll show how to create lists and access their elements using both the double square brackets for individual elements and the conventional dollar sign operator for named elements. So the main focus then shifts to data frame, which are arrows most common structure for tabular data, similar to a spreadsheet. So we demonstrate how to create a data frame, explaining that each column is a vector of the same length, but columns can have different data types. Crucially, we show how to access columns using the dollar sign operator or the square brackets, access rows using square brackets, and then access specific cells um, through rows or column. But most importantly, filter rows based on logical conditions, which are fundamental for data analytics. So we also briefly show how to add new columns. Okay, so now I'll switch. Let me switch here. Okay, so here you can see part one, we'll get to list, which are containers for anything. So, quick definition, a list is a generic vector that can contain elements of different types, including other lists or structures. Think of it as a collection of diverse items. Okay, so here we're gonna create a list where we are going to name the variable my investor profile. For you to use list, you have to call the function, right? That's the function for list. And then here we're gonna give a name. In the list, we will have a name, age, investor goals as a vector, uh, portfolio value, favorite stocks. We have three stocks, historical returns in fractions, and then we'll have a logical item where it will indicate whether it's an active trader, which in this case is true. So we run this. We have our investor profile, then we print, and you can see the items that we have in our list, right? The elements in our list, which have different data types, right? You check the class, and it tells you there is a list, right? Okay, so now next we want to access elements in a list here. So to access elements in there, you can use double square brackets for single elements, which returns the element itself. So here we are printing the first by position, which is one. So we know the name, the investor Alice Smith is the first, the name in the list. Okay, we can also access it by name here using the square bracket. So by position, by name here, right? And then we can use the dollar sign operator to also access um, the value of the in the list for name. We can also use single square brackets for sublists, so it returns a list containing the elements. So we give it this sublist variable name. So here we're gonna get a vector of investor goals and favorite stock, assign it to that. We print our sub list and it gives us our investor goals and favorite stock. And then we check the class, of course, is a list. So next is the data frame. Data frame is basically a list of vectors of equal length. It's essentially a table where each column is a vector and has the same number of rows. Each column can have a different data type. Okay, so here we're gonna create a data frame, and for you to create a data frame, you have to use the function data frame function here. I go to tab. Um, so that's the data frame function here. So our data frame, we have a column of ticker, company, sector, current um, price, annual dividend paid, dividend yield, um, and then the string as factors, right? Okay, we run this. We've created our data frame here. So while we have the string as factors here is important for character columns in older arrow versions. So you want to import it so that it doesn't make changes um, to the values for the column. Okay, so here we've created our data frame accordingly using the data frame function. So here we're gonna print our data frame, right? So this is our data frame for each column named accordingly. We check the class, we know it's a data frame class, and then you can use the string or SCR function. So that will provide you a compact summary of the structure. If you run this, you can see it shows basically the data type of each of the columns. So you can see ticker, ticker to sector is character. Then you have the current price to dividend yields and numeric data types. Okay, next we will access the elements in our data frame. So here you can also, like just like accessing the list element, you can use your, here we are using the dollar sign to access the ticker column, right? So that's the tickers we have in the ticker column. We can access the, using the double bracket to access the current price here. Um, and then for this one, when you have a square bracket where you have the empty and then the sector, so sector is a column. So usually when you write it like this, what you're saying without putting in a value here, you are using the row and column notation. So it will print all rows for the sector column, right? So we run this. So it prints all rows for the sector column. Okay, here we want to access rows. So here we're using row, column notation, all rows and sector. So it gives you all the rows in the sector, right? Here we can access the row by the first row. So the other way is the first row, and then leave this here blank to give you all columns, right, for the first row. So if we run this, right, so it gives you um, the first row and all columns. So the next one will give you first and the third row. We run that. Run that. It gives you the first and the third row, right? You can also see from the index. So the next one is the access specific cells of by row and column. So here we are accessing the company name for the second row. Run this, right? So that's Microsoft. And then here we want to access the annual dividend for the fourth row by the column index, right? 4 and 5. We run this. We get it accordingly. Okay, next one is we can filtering the rows based on conditions, right? So here we assign it to the tech stock. So here we want to filter the tech stock data by dividend yields that are greater than 2.5% or by this fraction. So give us everything for the stock data where the dividend yield is greater than 2.5%. We run this and then we print the variable, and this is all the dividend yields that are, greater than 0.25, right? We can also add a new column here. For example, payout ratio. We're gonna consider payout ratio. So here we're assuming the net income per share. So here we want to add this new column here and name it net income per share with this vector of values, right? So we run this, and then for the payout ratio, we're gonna is it gonna be a calculated column here. So how are we gonna calculate it? It will be the annual dividend column, right? Divided by the net income per share, right? So you run this, it calculates it, then you print your stock data. You can see it's added the new column for net income per share and then the calculated column for payout ratio. So that's basically the quick run through for data frame here. Um, Data frames are essential for almost all data analysis, and I will add, there is a workhorse for almost all real world data analysis in R. Same with Python. So mastering how to use a list and data frames are key towards becoming proficient. So in my book series, when you go through it, obviously data frame is almost we use this extensively in doing data wrangling and exploring the data. So my book, it will give you the in-depth in terms of data frames, including the techniques and the packages. Tidyverse is the package for it. So in the next video, we'll briefly cover the metrics and array, which are the more specialized data structure often used for numerical computation. So thank you for watching and see you in the next video.